Hi, my name is Kari and I'm the product architect here at FieldSync. What I'd like to go over with you today is the data entry module specific to the web application. Now I've logged into our web application, and as you can see here, I have visibility to the data entry button. Now most of the roles within the system, including the supervisor, manager, and staff roles, all have access to this data entry area. So I'm going to go ahead and select this button. And this will bring me to a screen where I can select any of my customers. Now in this customer list, you will only see the customers that have been assigned to you specifically as a user. Now depending on what industry you're in or what you're using FieldSync to collect data about, your customer list might include customers. It may also include vehicles so that you can keep track of service and repairs on vehicles. It may include your employees if you're doing HR related data collection or time tracking. It may include a number of things. Basically, the customer is anything or anyone that you want to collect information about. So I'm going to select my customer, Demo Dave, and this will show me all of the tasks that have been set up specific to this individual for today's date. You can see here that it will default to today's date, but you can also change it to go in and enter data for a different date. Now in the grid, you will see all of the tasks that have been created for Demo Dave. You can see we have one task that's still yet to be completed today. We have one task that's already been completed, and then there are a couple of unscheduled tasks here. What that means is they are not scheduled to occur today, but if I do need to do data entry on any of these tasks, I can just select either one of them and do this. So let's go into this time card task. Now a time card could be created for either a customer if you're collecting time specific to a job for a customer, so this could be used for billing purposes. It could also be used to track the time that your employees are working. So either one of those use cases would apply. I can see my customer name, the name of the task, I can select the date, I can enter in data for previous days, but I cannot collect data for a future date. I can also select the time using the time picker. It will automatically default to the current time. I can also enter in any comments or a title if I want to for the data entry. So let's say that I'm entering data for a specific job that I'm working on. So I can put that in the title to provide an indicator as to what the data is for. I can check completed as I'm completing my time card. And down here you can see all of the configurable fields that have been set up specifically for this task. Now there's a whole other video on setting up your tasks, so I won't go into those details, but based on what is set up in tasks, I can go through here and select the correct values. So let's say, for example, that I am working the graveyard shift. I can come into this task when I first get here and select the time in. Then I can come back into the task when I'm going out to lunch and set the time there. Same when I come back in from lunch and when I go out. So obviously these times are right in a row. You can see that with the date time control that you actually capture the very specific date and time that the button was pushed. One thing to note is that that date and time is not editable. So if you want the ability for your users to be able to change the time once they've entered it, you would want to choose a time picker, which would be more of a control like this that would allow them to edit it. But if you're wanting to do a true time card and capture the exact date and time, then you would want to use that date time control. So now I can come in here and enter the total hours that I spent. If there's any overtime hours, I could do that. I also see an acknowledgement here. Now we do have a signature control that is available on the mobile application where you can actually sign on the mobile since it's a touch screen. Since we don't have that capability on the web, however, you can select a file that includes your signature, or you can choose the select button and choose a signature to be displayed as your signature. Now if that doesn't work for your company, you can absolutely just utilize the mobile application for that data entry. And then you can see here also that I can choose my supervisor. So I'll choose Sally Supervisor and save the data entry. So now you can see that the time card is showing up under the completed section. One thing to keep in mind is that you can make multiple entries per day per task. So let's say now I'm moving on to a different job site. I could come in here and do a separate card for a different job, enter in that data, and I'll just hit save for right now. And now you can see I have two different records for that same task. So you can see that you really have flexibility and have the ability to go in and enter multiple entries. Another feature within the web application is the ability to look at other data that's been collected, whether it be on the mobile or on the web. So here we can see at 12:37 an injury report that was created. So I'm going to select Edit. This is actually a record that I did on the mobile application regarding an injury report of one of my employees. Now you can see that I would have the ability to go in and make changes if I needed to. Here is an example of a date control and also a time control, which I mentioned in the last task. Here's a checkbox list, a checkbox, radio buttons, and you can also see that on my mobile application, I was able to do a markup of an image to indicate where the actual injury was. And now I have visibility to that on the web. Here's a photo of the injury, the latitude and longitude of where the incident report was collected, and a signature of both the individual who was injured and the supervisor. So you can see by having visibility to that information from the web, someone in the back office can immediately look at an incident report or a time card or any of the data and be able to respond, be able to get back to a customer, be able to process payroll, whatever the case may be. Having that accessibility to data collection on the web is very important. Now, this is our daily view, which is what most of our customers use for data collection, but we also have a monthly view. So if I go into monthly entry, I've selected my customer. Here I can see a monthly view of all of my tasks. So here's again all of the tasks that have been created for Dave, and I can go in and see at a glance what's been completed within the month. And if I want to take a look at that data, it will just take me back to that daily view. That's all that I have for you today regarding data entry on the web. I encourage you to take a look at the video on how to do data entry on the mobile, as well as watching the video on how to set up the tasks that we're doing the data entry for. Please let us know if you have any additional questions or would like to set up a further demonstration. Thank you.